Do you feel like AD will be the best teammate LeBron has ever had?
I would say no. The answer to this question is easily Dwyane Wade. And here's why. LeBron James and Dwyane Wade are like brothers. They're like peers. When LeBron left Cleveland to go to Miami with that championship infrastructure that they already had in place, Mickey Arison, Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Dwyane Wade playing out on the floor. That's where LeBron James learned his championship pedigree. And then he was able to take that back to Cleveland. That's why if you notice when he went back to the Cavs, if you look on the floor, if you look on the bench, if you look behind the bench, there were multiple players that were a part of the Miami situation because LeBron understood how important that was to him. With Wade, peer. With Anthony Davis, big brother. The guys that now play with LeBron James that are a lot younger than him are going to idolize him, as they should. He's a legend. Dwyane Wade was already a champion, was already a Finals MVP, had already established himself as one of the top players in the game. So Dwyane Wade, clearly, for me, is the answer to this question.
Actually, the answer is clearly Anthony Davis, and by a lot. It's not that AD has proven to be a greater player than Dwyane Wade in his prime. Dwyane Wade in his prime, when you squint, you think, is that Michael Jordan? Is that Michael Jordan? But he wasn't in his prime when LeBron got there. You thought he was, but it turned out he wasn't quite. Look, when LeBron, the uproar about the Miami super team is not simply that he was playing with two other all-stars or max contract level players. It's that Dwyane Wade was considered easily a top 5 player at the time. You think back then it was, LeBron and Kobe and Duncan and Wade. Wade was right there, and he wasn't always coming in fourth, by the way, depending on the year. He had the greatest finals since Jordan at that time against Dallas. He was the man, but that wasn't the guy LeBron got. He was somewhat diminished. You have to admit it, from the very first season that LeBron played with him. That was no longer prime Wade. It fools people because he was still a great player. Because when you're falling from the heights Dwyane Wade is falling from, on the way down, you're still better than almost anyone who ever lived. But he wasn't at his best. Anthony Davis just turned 26 years old. He's in his prime. The reason he didn't have a great year last year is he got hurt. But he is in his prime. 26 years old. You saw the third highest PER on average ever. A great defensive player. He's in the running. He's the guy who you look at and go, he may replace Tim Duncan as the greatest power forward ever one day. AD is a perennial MVP threat and a perennial threat to be the best player in the whole wide world, who may be still ascending. Kyrie is not quite on that level. Wade wasn't anymore by the time LeBron got there, as it turned out. Forget about perception. As it turned out, the answer is easily AD.
This from the man that just finished saying the Lakers won't make the finals this year. Well, they made the finals all 4 years. LeBron was together with D. Wade in Miami.
Chris Bosh has something to do with that?
D. Wade is clearly the answer. We heard you speak enough. Here's the reality of the situation. When you look at Anthony Davis, and you can make the argument that LeBron James is the best teammate that Anthony Davis has ever had. But when you take into account who LeBron James was, and how the maturation process kicked in, and how he developed as a player and as a professional and as a man in Miami with D. Wade as his sidekick, per se, there is no question that D. Wade is the answer here. They went to 4 straight NBA finals. They won back-to-back titles, okay? And unless AD ends up pulling that off with LeBron James, which is a question mark at this particular moment in time, with people who don't even believe they warrant being the favorites, I clearly believe that Jalen Rose is absolutely right on this. Dwyane Wade is clearly the better teammate because Dwyane Wade was the person who elevated LeBron James into the guy that Anthony Davis ultimately will be inheriting.
The reason that point is ridiculous is that not the last point. I agree with the point Jalen made, you just made also. I'm talking about the idea that since they went to 4 straight, LeBron was in his prime. In Miami, that was prime LeBron. Did Wade have something to do with it? Miami has, yes, but that was still prime LeBron. He became an all-time great defender on that team. He was at his best physically. That's no longer the case. That's one. 2, they had Chris Bosh, a truly great player, and he was in his prime. So you add a Chris Bosh level player to this Lakers team, then I'm not saying they ain't winning in the first.
hold on, Jalen. I'm sorry. Have we seen? I'm sorry, Jalen. Am I correct in saying that they haven't played the game yet? How the hell do you know what Kuzma is going to be with Anthony Davis? Hold on, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the floor. You don't know what he's going to be as a third option because we haven't played yet.
And Max, I have to bring this up, and it's really important. The people that you're comparing Anthony Davis to, give him a chance to accomplish what they've accomplished. When Anthony Davis was a member of the Pelicans as a top 5 player, he wasn't able to achieve what Wade was able to achieve. That was winning a championship. He wasn't able to win like Tim Duncan.
Jalen, don't do that.
No, I'm just saying, you're comparing Anthony Davis to Tim Duncan.
Hold up. No,
Tim
I'm
Duncan,
not.
you said
He has a chance. That's the guy who has a chance.
Right.
Yeah.
And so until he gets there, you
can't say he has a chance until he gets there?
He not on their level yet, is what hold on. I said this on this show before. Let's talk about why AD is leaving. He's leaving because he wasn't able to lead them to titles, Max. That's why he's leaving.
When did Wade win a title? Let's be real. Wade won a title first when he got Shaquille O'Neal, who was still an elite player at that time, Shaq. Like, Wade got a title with Shaq. Now, Wade was the MVP of the finals. He balled out of control, no doubt. But he had Shaq.
That's like
Did AD have Shaq?
Well, that's like saying, well, Kobe got 2 championships without Shaq.
No doubt he had Pau Gasol. You can't do it by yourself.
Can I tell you something you don't know?
Player, the next thing to it.
May I tell you something you don't know? If you speak to the Dallas Mavericks, they were actually happy. They were actually upset, rather, whenever Shaq got into foul trouble and went out the game because they were more worried and fearful of Alonzo Mourning in that series. So the very Shaquille O'Neal that you point to in terms of his impact, it wasn't the same with Shaquille O'Neal with the Los Angeles Lakers. It was still a Shaquille O'Neal. It's still, excuse me, ask the players.